Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Iconic Production channel. I am JM, your game master for tonight, and with me I have my wonderful people, my players, those who are going to join us as we show off this wonderful game, Space 1889 After by Strange Owl Games, live on Kickstarter right now. It has funded completely and is in the process of stretch goals. I believe they've unlocked the first two. They just unlocked an adventure by Timothy Brown, who worked at GDW back when Space 89 was being produced. Hasn't aged a day since then. Did Dark Sun, has done Dragon Kings. There's a lot of just great things going on. So we're going to play through this. Now, Space 1889 After, if you were here for last week's character creation, is a game of steampunk adventure. And so we are going to be playing through an adventure kind of showing off the Empyrean system, which is this newest system of Space 1889. So we're just going to jump right into it. In case you need a little bit of a background on Space 1889 for my players, think Jules Verne, Arthur Conan Doyle,
H.G. Wells.
H.G. Wells, all of those are key touchstones for this. Thank you, Certified Torganic. Welcome to Certified Torganic. This person, Jadinks, I'm not sure who that is, and Phantom of Truth. And so we're going to start off in London. You have all received missives, invitations, if you will, to come to the Empyrean Society's club in London. Now, the Empyrean Society is a gentlefolks club, but instead of going to these strange locations of Earth, Mars, Venus, or the Moon, hunting whatever they find there and mounting their heads on this, instead, you're a society dedicated to the betterment of the inner system through technology, a very Victorian view of technology. It is a society that looks for the best, the brightest, the most hopeful, puts them together and uses them as agents throughout the inner systems. And one of the things to remember is while there is very little requirement for being a part of the Empyrean Society, there are two no dastardly villains of base character, and you all had to have, at some point, traveled in the ether. So as you make your way to the London office, a small 3-story facility with a frontage on St. James Street, as you wait for the doorman, the 5 of you look around and see each other. So what I would like you to do is introduce your character, tell us a little about themselves, and give us your name and why. When did you last travel through the ether? And I'm going to start with the man who I know is ready for any questions the moment I ask them. We're going to start with Ben. Ben, who plays, I realize there's 2 Bens. Ben, who plays our wonderful brother Block in the tour game. Please introduce yourself.
Well, as we are all gathering and we're, in a small clump, there's a small bucket, like a large bucket-sized robot at my feet, who's running around and kind of bumping into people. And I say, "Now, settle down, pecan. Settle down. I apologize."
Oh no, did Ben freeze? While we wait for, yes, it is Pecan is his robot. Let's jump over to Ben sitting to my right, who is also playing.
And apparently vastly underdressed. But
You are dressed the bare minimum for being in the studio.
apparently. So I am playing Neperon, who in this case is, as nobody on Earth could pronounce his name, goes by Napoleon. Napoleon Moonboy, who grew up on the hard streets of London, having traveled through the ether here on, having stowed away on some British imperial vessel some many years ago. And having come up the hard way on the streets of London, finally, having shown an aptitude for the gossip column, ended up finding himself a spot at the estimable London Times, where he now contributes, again, an astonishing amount of information he shouldn't know to their writer's room.
Excellent. And you're playing a drobate.
I am playing a drobate, so he's slightly psychic.
Slightly telepathic.
Yep.
Ben, as you introduce Pecan, what's your character's name?
Oh no, now we can't hear.
Oh, Ben. All right, we're going to jump over to Becca. Becca, who are you playing?
I'm playing Tori, Manhattan pirate, so a Martian pirate. So my most recent travel in the ether was to get here. I'm told they have people who can find out why there are voices in your head. Then I can find the voice and I can silence the voice and it will all be better. But I am here to help. I am a willing participant and enthusiastic partner.
All right, and then JD, if you would round us out here. Oh wait, we got Dave too. JD, round us out.
Hello, my name is Darkan. I have just recently come to this city on my tour. I have been giving talks as an alienist. I appreciate the opportunity to travel with you all. My sympathies are with us.
And then Gabe, who is currently in the Ben spot, as we wait for Ben to come back, introduce yourself to us.
Yes, I am Lady Variety Man Grinder. I am an ogre. I was created by my dear father, Lord Man Grinder, who had the misfortune of having 11 beautiful daughters. So he created me in his laboratory to serve as their professional chaperone and maiden, aunt, and traveling companion and guardian. Now they are all my 11 sisters have grown and gone away, and I have come to join this club to fill my time in my retirement.
And what was your character's name again, Gabe?
Lady Variety Man Grinder.
Now, were you one of the daughters, or did he make you from scratch, like Frankenstein's monster?
Yes, both.
Well, that's awful.
I mean, if he made me from scratch, I am one of the daughters, right?
Some
I simply
questions
not,
better asked.
So, Gabe is playing what is known as an ogre. So he is a product, or she is a product of science, but apparently not necessarily a pleasant one. All right, Ben, are you back, sir?
I don't know. The
You are. We
ether
can
is
hear
playing
you.
terrible. The ether's playing terrible tricks on me. Y'all, you know that the ether is poisoned, right? And I've worked with it for so long, I believe a bit of that poisoning has gotten into my system. I need it, but it hurts me. And sometimes I nod off. My doctor says the best is like turning something off and turning it back on to make it work again. I apologize. My name is Erme Wallace. I'm an inventor from the American South. This is my first time in London, actually. It's quite nice. I invented some things that unfortunately had the opposite result of my intentions, which was to ease servitude and the war. And unfortunately, I exacerbated both greatly. Oh, Gaval. Well,
Did you say your character's name was
now-
Erme?
Erme, Irme Wallace. Erme. My father says it's like Emery, but backwards. Rest in peace, Daddy.
I
Uh,
are.
I now tour the cosmos trying to put right what I can and searching for what I lost.
And then, JD, how do you spell your character's name?
That's a little complicated. It's a P backwards C M P asterisk looking E.
Cool. I've got that in there now. It's 3 question marks.
I sent you it's in the document. I copy pasted for you.
Nice. I will fix that at a later point. All right. I think we actually have everyone where they're supposed to be with names and sounds, so we are ready to go. All right. Yes, I do appreciate that. Normally, a family only has 1 main grinder, but thank you for that, certified organic. Always good to see you here. All right. So the 5 of you are standing around looking, well, rather unique. That's one of the advantages of being part of the Empyrean Society. Those of you who are not from this planet, you don't have to worry about it. It is a place for people of all species, of all walks of life, of all backgrounds, to be a part of something bigger than themselves. So, as you stand there, the door finally opens, and it is a distinguished British butler. White hair, kind of greased back, pencil-thin mustache, 3-piece suit with cravat. Ah, you must be my lady's afternoon guests. Tory, Variety Man Grinder, Napoleon, Emery, and... Yes. Please, if you will, welcome to St. James Street. This is the Imperial... And he just turns around and starts walking. And you guys know you're all here to meet Dr. Lavinia Shaw. Dr. Shaw is a member of the London Empyrean Society and a notable scientist who specializes in ether propulsion. Okay, remember, as Emery just told us, we had a time where the ether was poisoned. Ships were being destroyed, ships were disappearing, ships weren't making it where they were supposed to. And so for a while, interstellar travel just sort of faded into the background. And people looked at the stars, once again wondering what may be out there. But it's starting to open up again. And as we move forward, he takes you in to the drawing room. There is several decanters that are open, a small spread of crackers, cheese, and meats, as well as a full tea set. And as you watch, a woman with thick spectacles walks in. Short, wiry woman, tight hair pulled back into a very severe bun. And she says, "Good afternoon. Allow me to introduce myself. Dr. Lavinia Shaw, as you must have presumed, at your service. Thank you all for coming. Please, please, have something. The brandy is particularly good. Tori, it is a Marathon vintage from before the ether closed. I apologize for being rather abrupt with my summons, but as only some of our members are in the city at present, I was hoping you might be willing to assist me in responding to a rather unique request. You see, several weeks ago, we were contacted, and she just pours herself a big tumbler of brandy and throws it back in a way that I will not do on screen. Also because there are stones in there, and no one wants to see me crack my teeth on screen. We were a young inventor, a certain Mr. Ambrose Gilbert. I'm sure, Napoleon, you have heard of him. He has been working on a new invention that he calls, and she looks right at you, Emery, the frictionless ether translator. As I understand it, the contraption is designed to automatically shift between a vessel's atmospheric propulsion and its ether propeller. As you all know, that is the most dangerous point of any uneventful trip through the ether. You have to time the transition from atmosphere to ether propellers. It's usually very rough. It's usually the point where an inexperienced pilot has their ship fall out of the sky. Pilots have always had to do this manually. It's the test of a good pilot, as I'm sure Tori would let you know. But he believes his contraption will take over, would allow this transition from one to another to be smooth, seamless.
Frictionless, you might say.
One might say frictionless. Yes, Napoleon. I see you are a man of skillful words.
And observation. It's all in the observation. You gotta keep your ears open all the time.
She seems to be a little flustered. It also better modulates the speed of the ether propeller, so it stands to help ether fires avoid any damage through transition. Now, in any event, Mr. Gilbert, though brilliant, is not a man of means, as many geniuses tragically are. Not, of course, myself or Mr. Emery here, or even Variety's father, the famed Dr. Mangrinder. There will be.
Excuse me, that would be Lord Dr. Mangrinder.
Forgive me, Variety.
I'm sorry, madam. I'm sorry, Madam Doctor. Could you repeat your name again, because I didn't catch it?
That
Dr.
would be
Lavinia Shaw.
Mademoiselle Variety Mangrinder. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Lavinia Shaw. That is Mademoiselle Variety Mangrinder.
Yes. Oh, Dr. Lavinia Shaw, you said that we might presume it was you, and I never presume, because I find it presses you and me. Now, you keep mispronouncing my name, and it's impolite to correct a lady, but
Yes.
my name is pronounced Ermay.
Yes.
It's Emery, Ermay Wallace.
Ermay, I apologize.
I'm surprised because I'm quite famous, and like you said, as an inventor, I am actually rather wealthy.
Yes.
It is, however, your first time in London, so forgive us for not, catching on all the American pronunciation.
And they always said, right, that England and America is
Right, we spell your name with an extra U.
separated by a language, right? Two countries separated by a language. Anyway, Mr. Gilbert, he is going to do
We are
a
not amused.
little demonstration of his new invention, and so the society has taken an interest in his work. And one of our members has agreed to lend him a vessel, the Kingfisher, which has apparently been sitting idle in the berths of the chimney for years. Now, the society has funded Mr. Gilbert's work, and we would like to see a return on our investment. His demonstration flight is scheduled for this evening. It should be a quite fancy affair. He looks at Tori and the automaton and Napoleon.
I can do fancy, Governor, don't you worry.
You are like a person out of a Dickens novel. It's very quaint. Seems again to be a real. It seems only proper to have a few of our members on this little society on board to make sure everything runs smoothly. Variety, I'm sure that if any aristocrats, any of the aristocracy or the debutantes need
Grinding.
entertaining, is what I was going to say. You could smooth that over. And anyway, I hope you would be willing to undertake this task. Mr. Gilbert also tends to get a little lost in his work, as many eccentrics do. I'd consider it a personal favor if you'd help make sure that, again, he's not a man of means. He's not squandered our resources, but there will be several investors on this maiden voyage. I would be quite appreciative if you could secure a good one so that he has the ability to repay his debt to the society. We've already made, in addition to the Kingfisher, several other rather expensive investments in his research. If the translator is half of the invention Mr. Gilbert claims, you will be witnessing history. So, hey, Mr. Furious, good to see you. So, do you have any questions?
So the idea is that we get on the Kingfisher when he's testing this device which has never been tested before.
Exactly, exciting, isn't it? But here's the thing. If you look around the room, I have provided you with an expert in the nobility, a keen mind for discerning the psychology of those on board, a practical wizard with technology in case something goes wrong, and a pilot in case one is needed. You could not be safer if you were walking the streets of London tonight, Mr. Napoleon, and you can record this whole thing for posterity.
When was the last time she walked the streets of London?
You get the feeling that's been a while.
Am I to understand that you suspect that the inventor is exaggerating or lying?
No, not quite that. The thing is, he's gotten very far in his research, and his research is very promising. But this is the moment. He has successfully employed the translator in demonstrations on his own time. However, we've invited several investors as well as... What paper did you say you worked for again?
The London Times, my friend.
Oh, that is a... Well, this was not my doing, but Constance Price, the shrew, has invited Cecilia Thompson, who you know is a young up-and-coming reporter who is known to be rather cutthroat in her attempts to scoop stories. She will be on this flight as well, Mr. Napoleon. May I call you Mr. Napoleon?
You can. My associates call me Mr. Moonboy. But you can call me Nappy if it serves you.
I believe Nappy, Mr. Napoleon did. So, I would prefer if the society had an exclusive. I assume one of you can ensure that Cecilia's story never sees the light of day.
Now, what sort of shenanigans are you potentially authorizing in this case?
She definitely looks like a Tory Martian pirate that she is, and variety man grinder that she is.
Of the Norwich man grinders.
Are there
Of course.
other man grinders?
Oh yes, yes. The Liverpool
Doctor.
men grinders, for instance, we're only distantly related to them.
Are they of means?
Dr. Olivia, could you be more specific about the types of investors you have invited? I find that whenever a scientific invention or breakthrough is introduced, it's highly likely that somebody would like to weaponize it for military purposes, which is, of course, against the grain of my being, and I would like to avoid that generally.
Yes, I have heard the stories, the tales of what has happened with your inventions, and I must say, allow me to extend my most deepest apologies. I know what it is like to see something you love dealt with in such a manner. Yes, so we've been very careful of the investors that we've invited, despite Gilbert's rather loose lips. We've invited Lord Sidney Wallace of the Cornwall Wallaces.
No
He's a-
relation, I assume, to Hermé.
Not that I know of.
Are you related, Hermé?
I should like to think not, but it is possible, as my mother is a daughter of the American Revolution, both actually and a very proud card-carrying member of that fine organization.
So you're estranged. and probably.
Oh, I would find him very strange no matter what. I can assure you that.
He looks right at Tori and Variety and our automaton friend and says, "Listen, Lord Wallace is a young British nobleman who just inherited his fortune from his father and has an eagerness to support modern science. He believes that it is the duty of nobility," and she looks back to you, Variety and Erme, "to uplift the world, same status that we are at. Unfortunately, Gilbert has fallen to the siren sound of Constance Price. Did I mention she's a shrew? She represents Ars Technologica. You all have devices, I assume, in your homes that they've mass-produced. Now, while I can't officially say one way or another whether Ars Technologica has their hands in military research and development, I would be very disappointed if Miss Price were to get the investorship. Now, technically, it is in the hands of Mr. Gilbert. And she looks right at you, JD. But we all know how some wise counsel and, let us call it, honeyed words can direct people to their better selves and their better angels. Lord Wallace has no desire to see the frictionless ether translator applied to military needs. And she kind of leans in a little conspiratorially. As you all know, there are several governments who have started to impound or restrict liftwood and ether ships. I fear there are many who would like to see ether and the skies be weaponized. We of the Empyrean Society stand opposed to that.
Here, good lady.
So, what questions can I answer for you? I've answered Hermes and Mr. Napoleon's. She runs through all of the list of the things you said she could call you and still defaults to Mr. Napoleon.
I am slightly confused. The newspaper reporter is also the representative.
No,
for
Cecilia
this-
Thompson is the newspaper reporter.
Okay.
Oh. But we don't like her either. Or I mean,
me in particular doesn't like Cecilia Thompson, as she is apparently a vile creature known for scooping my stories.
Specifically, Mr. Napoleon stories. And yes, Mr. Furious, it was already militarized, but they did not go as far to start seizing airships. The Society would like to see this technology spread throughout the inner system to help travel and communication and trade, not fall into the hands strictly of a military application.
Sounds like the job of perhaps a trade federation.
Variety, Tori, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, Tori has been drinking like from the decanter,
It's delicious.
and it is almost gone. She says, "Are we going to get paid for this, or is this our initiation into your?"
No, you're all full members of the Empyrean Society. This is more of a, let's call it a favor, as well as a audition.
I can do favor.
There are several other things, Tori, that the society, specifically I, needs seen to. And if there was a group of capable society members, I would be willing to send them out into the ether to Mars to help with a very delicate situation that's emerging on the planet. I was going to save this for later, but you should know. She kind of looks at all of you. I need all of you to give me the first roll of the night. I need all of you to give me a charm roll. So a roll in this game, you're going to roll dice equal to the dots that you have in the rating that you have in the ability. Remember, 5s are 1 success, or are 1 good result. 6s are 2 good results, and add an additional die to the pool. So everyone give me the roll and tell me how many goods you get. 0?
Zip.
You are not charming at all, are you?
I am a small blue man in a hat who talks too much.
I mean, I feel like you're delightful, but
I have no pupils. It's off
you have no pupils and your skin is slightly transparent. So
Do ones count against you in any way?
they do not.
Okay.
This is why I enjoy gaming with JD, because like myself, she gets all the other games we've played together. I was like, no, of course they do. That's no World of Darkness. That has no play here. 1 success for variety. How many successes or goods did Tori get? 6. Dang.
Snap.
Airmay, how many did you get? 2? JD, what did you get?
5.
5. So I was going to say, you all have 3 cogs. And a cog allows you to reroll any dice you want from the pool, up to and including your whole pool. I don't know that you need to, because
Apparently everyone else is charming as heck.
that's right. That's what AF stands for, as heck.
I've been told I'm delightful.
All right. Tori can fill you in later, but one of the ways before the poisoning that happened that we were able to keep communications, and you imagine the distance between Mars and Earth is quite great. There were large, massive heliograph stations placed in orbit around Mars. We have sent a team to claim it as salvage. That team's ship returned and has been attacked by flyers, or by pirates.
In Earth airspace.
Somewhere between Earth and Mars.
Oh.
The scientists, the records say, they're still on the heliograph. If we can control the heliograph platform, we can keep communications open. Even if our dear Britain took the heliograph, they would quickly find a way to either monetize it or shut everyone else out from its use. We are currently refitting the Mollymock ether flight. If you do this for me, I would propose to trade you, Tori. Well, actually, all 5 of you. The Mollymock for saving the scientists on the heliograph station.
Either ship plus my per diem. It'd be a pretty good way to make out.
Yes. Plus your per diem.
From the
What
London Times, of course. Costs you nothing.
What are the lodging conditions aboard the Mollymock? Are they superior to the lodging conditions aboard the Kingfisher? Because I do have a certain quality of life I hope to maintain.
The Kingfisher is only for tonight, dear Wallace. The Mollymock you can do whatever you want with, assuming you help us recover the heliograph station. But for now, that is because I believe Tori has a vested interest in making sure Mars's communication lines stay open and free. Will you do this for us? Will you investigate the Kingfisher? Ensure that Gilbert's device and presentation goes off without a hitch, and that the society ends up with both the story painting it in a good light and the best investor, even if it is that shrew.
Never let it be said that science called and a man grinder answered not.
Well, and you have my pledge as a teller of the truth and journalist of some esteem and value that I will, in fact, paint you in a properly positive light.
And paint yourself.
I mean,
I am determined to deter the direction of any invention towards war. Therefore, you have my services.
I greatly appreciate that. Well then, good luck. The Kingfisher is docked at the chimney. Mr. Furious has a what I can only assume is a setting question. She's using the shrew in the derogatory term for an unpleasant woman, not an actual shrew woman hybrid. Although I can talk to Daryl about that.
do we want that? We don't want that.
So the chimney, you all know, the chimney is a towering edifice in London. That is a bustling ether fire port. It's a tall brick tower that has several levels of berths for liftwood vessels. Liftwood is found only on Tori's beloved Red Planet. But it is a ship, a wood that allows a ship to have a negative lift compared to gravity. So if you build a hull out of liftwood, the ship will fly in an atmosphere. As well as berths for vessels employing hydrogen in the atmosphere. So there's fields around it that allow zeppelins and other ships to land. And the Kingfisher is docked there. So, is there anything you guys want to do before you head over to the Kingfisher?
Well, as a writer for the London Times gossip section, what do I know about Lord Sidney, Lord Wallace, Constance Price?
I adore the fact that you were playing a gossip columnist.
I'm telepathic. That's how, I assume as a young drobate on the rough streets of London, I simply hung around the right places, picked up the right information, passed little bits of information on to people who came to see me as a font of useful
Well,
speaking.
we'll start here. Give me a sense roll.
Okay.
How many dice do you have in sense?
I have a total of 5.
All right, so here's the thing. Lord Wallace is the current Lord Wallace has only taken his title very recently, so I'm going to give you a penalty to this. So what that means is when you are done rolling, I will subtract one good result from your die pool.
Okay. What if I use my investigator distinction?
That means you don't. What does your investigator distinction do for you, Ben?
I don't know. You didn't tell me, JM.
Actually, I did. I sent it to you on Discord. I would like to let the record state that JM at least had that. Gain advantage on notice or sense rolls. If a clue or important item is present, you discover it and know its significance without a roll. I will give you the advantage on the roll. So that means you get to re-roll one of your dice.
All right. And a 6, a 5, 2 1s, and a 4.
So I just need 5s or higher.
Okay, so 2, 5, 5, and a 6.
A 5 and a 6, so you're at 3 right now.
Okay.
You get to add another die because of the 6.
Okay.
So roll another die, and you get to re-roll one of your original pool because of the advantage.
That's another 5.
All right, so you got a total of 4.
4 successes.
All right, so you need 1 to succeed.
Okay.
And then every 2 after that gives you an additional piece of information.
Okay.
So what you know about Lord Sidney Wallace is that he took over for Lord Hiram Wallace, who died in an unfortunate foxing accident. He left his horse leapt over a small stone wall, and a foot fell into a gopher hole and through Hiram Wallace and his neck. You also know that although Sydney is known as a patron of the sciences, and seriously, from everything you know in your gossip column, that he is truly dedicated to uplifting all of humanity through the benefit of science. He is very proud and touchy when it comes to noble blood and noble birth, and wants to do all of these altruistic things from a very, let's call it, derogatory point of view. Like, it's up to the nobility to lift up the poor, unfortunate lowbloods around us so that they can enjoy a modicum of what we enjoy through our God.
Noblesse subdigée.
Yes, exactly. Also, he is fourth on Cecilia Thompson's most eligible bachelors.
That
in
was my
London.
next question. Is he
He is rich. He is landed. He is titled, and he is single. And in the words of Jane Austen, therefore is in paraphrase, right? Much need of a wife. So,
Man Grinder? Are you single? I assume so.
I don't read novels. I think they're common.
Right. Well, you seem like Mr. Wallace's other Wallace's type.
all right, we're going to jump over to Airman. Airman, is there anything you would like to do as you head over to the Kingfisher?
Yes.
You have Pecan with you, or Pecan.
No, she's a pecan. Yeah. We say pecan. Some people call her pecan. That is not her name. Her name is pecan porter. You ever had a pecan porter? They are delicious. Now, so I would like my compatriots to maybe not notice if I could slip away for a second into the city. I would imagine that during my travels through the cosmos, I have developed a habit for something that may be illegal or contraband in some areas. And if I'm going to fly away, I would like to score that before I get upon the Kingfisher, please.
What are you currently, is it,
I'm picking up Toad's opium.
is it opium? Are we talking about, like, do you have
It's far more exotic than that. Why, this is from the outer reaches of the outer reaches.
So you're saying we're talking about, like, what is known on the street as lizard snuff, but is actually an exotic ground mushroom from the jungles of Venus.
I am ashamed to say that you have found out my weakness, but I do have a proclivity for that snot. I got to have the snot.
Give me a sneak roll, Airmaid, to see if you can sneak away. Tori, yes, Tori.
As someone who is wily and makes trouble for others, and perhaps a bit of a schemer distinction, can I attempt to notice Airmay's sneakery?
This will be your thing. I would like you to give me a sense roll. This is going to be an opposed roll. Whoever rolls the most goods
Gets the goods.
6. Yeah, 1. So 2.
What'd you get, Airmaid?
I have 2.
Okay, so here's the good news. You sneak away. No one notices you. Except Tori, who is clearly following you. Tori,
That's cool.
you witness in a back alley in the bad part of London, Airmaid reach into Pecan and pull out some crisp dollars and hand them to a man in, like, a ratty stove top or stovepipe kind of hat that's kind of popped at the top, thin goatee, and the malicious yet wild look in his eyes. If one of his eyes is staring right at Airman, the other one's looking at stuff way over there. And he pulls out a small lacquered box. And it looks to be pure lizard snuff. If you
Okay.
want, and he has that one really long, cured lacquered like pinky nail, and he scoops just a little bit and offers it to your nostril.
Oh yes, I cannot resist, despite the fact that this gentleman is clearly disgusted.
That's the Artful
I-
Codger.
Thank you,
I,
Ben.
I no longer, through my travels and through my mistakes and the horrors that my brain has wrought upon this world, I no longer judge people. So I definitely snort the snot right out of this man.
All right. You definitely get a little zip, a little kick, and Tori, you watch all of this go down.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye out for anyone else taking an interest in this and making sure that this man is not attempting to rob my new team member before I get the chance to.
No, it definitely seems as if this is a honest, if bedraggled.
A legitimate businessman.
Yeah. Like, this man takes his sales position very seriously.
All right.
And then I will store the snot in pecan.
All right.
Okay.
So, Tori, you spend the time going to the Kingfisher, trailing Airmay, and discovering his loathsome secret.
I do, and at some point I want to attempt to steal that from Pecan.
Okay. I will let you know when you have that opportunity.
Okay.
Let's go to Variety Man Grinder. Variety, is there anything you would like to be doing on the way over?
Not particularly.
All right. That leaves only the illustrious JD. What is your automaton doing?
I am on high alert, scanning for anyone following,
Okay.
anyone acting suspicious as we near the dock,
Ooh.
specifically looking, just for those tells, but also any packages arriving or disembarking that should not be there.
All right. Would you give me a sense roll?
Question.
Okay.
Bring it to the group. Not just not
Not
involved.
using that die. 2.
All right. So no one seems to be following you. No one seems to be looking at, kind of at you as you move about the place. But as you get to the chimney, you can clearly see that there are a lot of ships here, and there are a lot of dock workers and people who are unpleasant in their demeanor. I mean, dock workers attracts all sorts, and you definitely get the feeling. With 2, you see there are several untrustworthy, to your mind, people who are more interested in the people walking by than necessarily the goods they are loading or offloading their own ship. There are several ships that are like that. You get the feeling that if they are not actual ether pirates, they are definitely scouting marks.
Napoleon knows All of them.
Yeah. Napoleon, you were going to.
Does the Empyrean Society have any rivals?
They do not.
So there's no like specific organization which they see as their nemesis who would directly and potentially interfere with their activities.
Not really. The Empyrean Society has, all those who trust and value the ether and the system are aware of groups like the anarchists who are attempting to disassemble the empires. They're aware of people like the ether pirates who are scouring the ether for easy targets and marks. And they are also aware of the fact that there is rumors coming out of Mars of a cult known as the Worm Cult, who believe that all planets must die eventually, and any attempts to prolong the life of a planet
All right. Well, that's
is
good to know.
against the natural order.
So we could potentially encounter any of those
That's right.
bozos.
Yep, they are nihilists, Napoleon. This is as exhausting as it sounds. All right, as you get to the tower, the Kingfisher is a liftwood flyer that looks to be an Edison patent propeller on the back of it. Its berth is decked out for all the expected guests. There are colorful banners and electric lights strung along the walkway, giving it a sort of a festive appearance, although no one is there to greet any of you. There are a few workers moving about. They kind of stay clear of the Kingfisher's berth because there are security that have been hired to kind of keep people away, but they don't bother you as you walk up. As you head up the ramp, you can see that the Kingfisher was clearly designed to house the crew and the guests on a very long interplanetary journey, but has been decorated and rearranged for the upcoming festivities. The crew quarters have been converted into makeshift sitting room, and there are several tables that have been added, each with fine china, and there are two serving staff that are currently laying out all of the forks, checking the place cards, and there are 3 people already sitting in the sitting area, one of which you recognize, Napoleon, as Miss Cecilia Thompson. She is currently talking to another woman who is very smartly dressed. Variety, well-dressed, but well-dressed for the middle class. And you can see, kind of looking at everyone drinking a whiskey of some sort, is Lord Sidney Wallace.
I elbow a man grinder in the kneecap.
It's your mark. Gotta make your move now. Before the other eligible ladies show up and try and, elbow their way into his good graces. He is 4th most eligible bachelor in all of London.
Lady Variety just turns beet red and giggles slightly.
I'm sorry, Gabe. I'm going to need to hear that nervous giggle. Gabe, you can have another cock. That was...
What? So, and if all else fails, you've got 11 sisters, right? You've got opulence. Perhaps you would use a bit of, matronly magic where you, suggest that so-and-so perhaps should meet my so-and-so.
You get the distinct feeling, Variety, that Napoleon does not know what he's talking about.
Lady Variety picks Nap up by the scruff of his moon neck and holds him up to her, 8-foot high face and says, "Please refrain from discussing the personal life of me or my sisters, young."
Fair enough, Governor. I mean, this particular hoe hanging up on my neckerchief business happens surprisingly often.
She hangs him nonchalantly on a coat hook.
I mean, it's a good view from up here. You can see the whole crowd.
It is true. JD, I'm going to refer to your character as Dunkron because I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce your character's first name. I like all of the letters, but I will make sure that that is placed. Dunkron and Tori, what are you doing as this exchange goes down that leaves Napoleon both high and sadly dry?
Damn it, don't drink!
I watch this all happen. I look over, see the group that looks like super like hoity-toity, and kind of go, "Yeah, that's not my jam." Does Variety Man Grinder like walk away from Napoleon on the coat hook, or does she stay right next to him?
No, I hang him on the coat hook and then remove my hat and hang it over his face and walk away.
All right.
Not
Tori...
maliciously, just as in having forgotten that I'd put him there.
Fair enough. Tori, in order to continue to thwart everyone, lifts down Napoleon, takes the hat, kind of rolls it up and shoves it into her coat, and walks on through the ship, just kind of looking to see what there is and who's around.
You don't notice anyone else around, but you can hear noises coming from the engine room.
Then I will head that way.
All right. Dunkron, what are you doing?
My personal inclination is to check and make sure that sabotage is not being done upon said device of import.
Okay. That would probably be in the engine room. Would you like to follow Tori?
Yes.
All right. Anime, what are you doing, sir?
Am I to understand that the good Dr. Gilbert is aboard the Kingfisher as well?
He should be, but I will point out that Gilbert is merely a genius and not a doctor in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, well, I as well am a wizard, and I did not attend Hogwarts, so it's a bit like Dr. Phil calling himself a doctor. Anachronisms. All right, so well then I would normally have gone to the engine room directly, but having seen that my compatriots are traversing in the direction of the turbulent noises, I shall seek out this genius Gilbert.
Okay. Airman, if you had been anywhere between Soho and Brighton, I would assume you were another kind of wizard. But sadly, you were from the Americas, and so a cog to anyone in the chat who gets that reference.
The pinball wizard, right?
It is Pinball Wizard.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay.
You're not in the chat, but I
Not
will give you the
completely without culture.
That's right. I also appreciate that it was cultured, because it is. We will come back to the three of you who are going down into the engine room. Let's focus on Variety and the... Tori, you said you unhooked...
I was unhooked.
Okay, so Napoleon and Variety, what are you doing? You can see Constance is shooting daggers at you across the table as she's scribbling notes, talking with the woman in the business suit. And Wallace is just kind of surveying this whole thing like this is the most interesting thing that has happened to him in quite a while.
Alright. I am going to approach my rival in letters.
I apologize, Miss Price. This is a gossip columnist from the Times. Nappy?
Napoleon Moonbot
Canadian?
at your service. Journalist, London Times.
And as I introduce myself, I am Cecilia Thompson, reporter in the front pages of the London Times.
Well, you do know what they say. You can't judge a newspaper by its front page. The good stuff is like 4 pages in.
No, that is literally people. Constance Price. Oz
I judge all
Technologica.
newspapers, no matter the page.
Do you say that as well? Are you walking up to this table as well?
No,
Oh, I was
I
like,
got my eye
really
on.
good.
I got my eye on Wallace.
Wallace is just, again, kind of sitting back with his sniffer, watching this. And you can see, like, the corner of his mouth turns up. In the way, Variety, that Lord Dr. Manwallace smile turns up when his foxes, or when his hounds catch a fox.
Yes, I will sit directly opposite him and pull out my fan and begin attempting to flirt with him through the language of fans.
Gabe, I'm gonna need a second. I'm gonna come back to you.
So, did the editor send you down here for this gig, or is this just more one of those wandered in and decided it was interesting sort of things?
I'm here on assignment, Nappy.
Oh, so you had to be told to come here.
Why are you? So, as we were speaking, Miss Price, Ars Technologica has an interest in this voyage. And why was that again? I did not say. Why are there 2 of you here? It seems wastefully redundant.
But see, this is the social event of the season. We've got Lord Wallace, we've got yourself, we've got... I mean, look at all these other wonderful people. We've got the Lady Mangrinder in-house. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this is an event not to be missed. Potentially also of immense scientific import. Sending every man, the young, the free, the charmingly handsome, to the stars and beyond.
I would like you to attempt to give me a charm.
All right.
Now, you have a penalty of 2 on this because of Miss Price's traits.
Okay.
She is both reserved and skeptical, and I think you pinged both of them.
Well, that's 1 6. So,
That's 2. So that's 2, and you have to re-roll 1.
okay. All right, rolling 1 more. That's a 5.
That gets you 1 success. Please no, Cecilia, there is no need. Both of you can interview me 4 times, and we'll see which of you is the better reporter. I will judge you not by your verbal view, but the ink that falls on the page. So, variety, and then we will jump over to the engine room. Oh, Mademoiselle Mangrinder, it is a pleasure. I believe I had the honor of hunting with your father not several years ago, back when my father Hiram was still around. What brings you to the Kingfisher? Are you also interested in Gilbert's invention?
No, I am here simply to drink tea and kick Ars Technica, but luckily I still have plenty of tea.
Dave is determined to make me break, and I will refuse. Well, I do think that it is of great import that we keep certain things out of Ars Technica's hands. They would just turn around and sell it or hoard it. But if we could fund this man, he has the dreams to roll out his device to the masses, to the common people who desperately need
Oh,
this.
I don't hold with that at all.
You don't believe it is the nobility's duty to take care of and shelter and protect the lowborn?
Absolutely not. Quite the other way around.
I know,
Damn it!
Abort!
the Variety Mangrider is an ogre of principle, sir. An ogre of principles. Alright, you see that, Lord Wallace no longer sees you as a partner or a visionary. I'd like you to roll charm. And you will have a penalty of 2 because of his traits.
That is a resounding failure.
Okay, he also does not see you as a flirting partner and just kind of crosses his legs in a rump and turns to the side.
Well, we've always got Tori.
Speaking of, Mr. Darius gets a cog because it's always on fire. Airmay, Tori, and our alienist, you descend down the ladder, and JD, it doesn't require any of your what could be, for all practical purposes, millennia of psychological knowledge to understand that when someone is swearing like this, something is wrong. And as you descend down the ladder, you come into a engine room that looks like it has been rolled like a cigar. And you can see that there are tools and gears and broken glass strewn everywhere. Spilled oil from an overturned can pools in the corner of the room, and there are pages of handwritten notes. Airmay, even just from your brief glance at these notes, these are brilliant schematics of devices that you've only dreamed about. This is like a man at the if here's the cusp of scientific knowledge and creativity and optimism, and Airmay, because of everything that's happened, is past. It's just past that, haunted by the graves that bear the name killed by Airmay. This man here, Ambrose Gilbert, is just on the other side. He's ascending. He has that vital spark of innocence, purity, mixed with creativity that fills every invention. But this young man in a slightly rumpled waistcoat paces back and forth, swearing, not as a genius, not as someone who wooed the Empyrean Society, but someone that Nappy would be very familiar with. A street fellow from London who was raised on the streets and knows how to turn a blue phrase. He's kicking through the debris clearly, looking for something when he notices Tori, and probably more obviously Dunker on the automaton, as you come down the ladder. Hello. Please, don't worry about the mess. All part of the process. You can see he's really trying to sound like he's in control. You'll be able to see the and he glances over at this pedestal where the broken glass seems to be have been spread from, and there are tines like a jewelry stone setting on a ring that is are clearly bent and missing. You'll be able to see the frictionless ether translator later, but if you would return to the lounge, this is off limits.
We are not investors. We're here on behalf of the society, and it looks like You're screwed.
He just sort of crumples in on himself and begins to bawl. I don't know what happened. I came down. I just connected everything up in the car, and it's gone. It's gone. It'll never work without it. What happened? I don't know. Please don't tell the Ether Society. I can't even afford to pay for one, let alone two.
No idea who took it? Are you sure?
Listen, I don't know anything. Like I said, it was here. I went to hook up everything in the control chair, the cockpit, and then when I came back, it's gone. The device is still here. Obviously, all of this will still work, but without the glow crystal, the whole thing will overheat and explode within minutes of being engaged. I'm ruined. You're ruined. I'm doubly ruined.
Tori pulls her pistol out,
Oh God, you've come to
puts
kill
it
me.
back. No, not kill you. We will find who did this and kill them. It will be fine.
Listen, I just need the glow crystal back. Herme, as a man of science, you know that a glow crystal is a mineral that only is found on Mercury. And it's capable of translating solar energy directly into a stable electrical current. So for this thing to work, it needs more power than a solar battery would be able to provide. And the fact that anyone had one of these things, not solar battery, sorry, solar furnace, boiler is what I'm looking for. The fact that that Dr. Shaw had one of these is remarkable because for years you've been unable to go to Mercury, and I mean they were difficult to mine at the best of times.
How large
Well,
is this thing?
We'll start with JD and then go to Ben.
I'm sorry, Ben. How I will require a description of the item, the size, and the approximate, exact time that it was noticed to be stolen.
I noticed it would be stolen about, and he pulls out a battered and badly scuffed pocket watch. He clicks the button and it clicks open. About 8.5 minutes ago, which is about 3 minutes before you walked on board. No one has left the ship at this point. And he starts looking at the papers. No, and he holds up. This is to scale, and it's a scale model of a bell jar on top of a pedestal with a gem held in the pentagonal times, the 5 times of the frictionless ether translator. Curse those metric minutes.
Am I correct in assuming that the glass that is on the floor that you described is from that bell jar and that only the gem is missing?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Arabe, what do you got, sir?
Well, first of all, it's called a glow crystal. Does it actually glow?
It does actually glow, and you know for a fact these things are wildly expensive.
So how brightly does it glow? Like if I put it in a purse, will light escape the purse?
Only if it is fully charged or exposed to or channeling current. So if it's pulled out,
it would have. Oh.
Yeah, once it's
removed,
pulled
out,
it glows of at about a candle's luminescence by itself.
Okay. First of all, Pecan is already cleaning things up. She cannot abide a mess. And I would stop her, but I feel like, truthfully, a cluttered environment leads to a cluttered brain, my good Gilbert. So why don't while my good compatriots here track down your missing glow crystal, why don't you and I see if we can't trick this old ship into not even needing the glow crystal? What do you say we make some magic?
I would be glad for any help, Mr.
May Wallace. You probably have heard of me. I'm a rather famous inventor myself.
His eyes go wide, and the color drains from his face. Of the Wallace reaping machine?
I didn't name it now, so it was the Wallace farm helper to begin with, but then it did a lot of reaping and also killing. But that's not what's important today. What's important is your project here. I would love to help you, and also I would love to see your patents and the numbers relating to those patents. I would love to see anything you haven't patented, and I would love to help you with the large amount of money that I have to see your work be fulfilled. By the way, do you do snot?
Completely overwhelmed. JD and Becca, you kind of get the feeling that Ernie is going to stay behind and attempt to help. What about the two of you? What are you guys going to do?
Can this glow gem whatever be detected by any device?
If you had a device that registered large amounts of power, you would be able to track it.
But only
I
if
was
it
going to
was
suggest
used?
turning all the lights off because it glows just like a candle. Let's kill the power.
If it's still on the ship.
Right. So I guess what I would be doing is checking with the dock workers in charge of our particular gangplank to see who was the last person to depart and at what specific time.
All right, so you're heading out. Tori, are you going with your automaton friend?
I would, but I also just want to take a look around the scene and see if there's any indications of who it may have been and if there's any tracks in the oil, as it were.
Yes, as you look, you can see that there is a small set of work boots that don't match any that you've seen on the ship. They seem to be dockers' work boots, but they seem smaller and narrower than, say, a human male's footprint or boot print.
Okay. All right. I will follow that and see if it takes me also off the.
It definitely is heading off ship. Now, Variety and Napoleon, you see Duncaron and Tori come up out of the engine room. Both, well, it's kind of hard to tell if your automaton is working. But it walks with purpose and stride, just right off the ship, which seems weird as you were sent to the ship. Your Matan comes up, and your friend Tori does seem concerned, and she seems very interested in the deck. What are you two doing?
I shuffle sideways over to Tori.
You seem like a woman of some means and ways. Would you happen to have any laudanum on you?
Laudanum?
Or, something else that could potentially be slipped into a drink and then, used to perhaps incapacitate your journalistic rights. Not to be too specific.
JM, can I please have something?
I'm going to say no, you don't have laudanum on you.
And I don't have anything else
Though,
from Mars.
Not at this point, no.
how much?
Okay, I'm gonna.
How much lizard
leave
snot would
them-
it take to knock someone out?
So lizard snot would not knock them out. It would If you gave them enough, their heart would explode.
Oh, but if we gave them enough, would it make them, incapable of forming coherent sentences?
No, it would make them spew sentences at an even more rapid rate. And I didn't mention the heroic characters for the Ethers, just the Empyrean Society.
Sometimes certain.
JD pointing out that she does have a mesmerizer and could hypnotize your rival.
Oh, all right. So what does a mesmerizer do?
You'd have to follow her off the ship and ask her.
I will tell my small friend here that I will keep a lookout for something to knock out your rival, and if it comes to it, I will throw her overboard myself.
You are a very useful and lovely friend, Tori. Thank you very much. The sort of person you keep in your back pocket for a lifetime.
Variety, what about you?
So, Tori is leaving the ship.
Tori and Dunkron are leaving the ship.
Okay. And Nap is following them?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I will go to the window of the ship and wave my handkerchief out of it at Tori and as they are leaving. What's the automaton's name? Dacron?
So, JD, it is, if I remember correctly.
Donkran.
Dunkra.
That's why I refer to. I don't have the glottal stop capability.
I'll wave my handkerchief out the window and say, "Yoo-hoo, yoo-hoo! Oh, where are you going?"
This large port window has sort of been forced open by Variety, and the ogre is leaning out of a porthole, speaking
Are we
to you.
supposed to stay here?
I utterly ignore you.
Tori, what about you?
I look back and I say, we will be back if you want to help us look for something that got lost, but we'll be back.
Variety, do you want to go help? Does that intrigue you at all?
I will lean towards Tori.
Well, is Nap planning on coming as well, or is he just?
I have to keep an eye on my literary rival.
Okay,
I
I'll
have to
stay
make
here with Nap just in case
All right.
he needs a little muscle.
All right.
I'll
You
shut
leave
the
it-
window then.
We might want to keep a lower profile since we are not supposed to be giving news stories to alternate reporters.
Well, I mean, yes.
You're not there. That's just the Tori. All right. Well, that's where we will pause for tonight with Tori and Dunkron heading out to find the missing glow crystal. Erme trying to help see if there's a way to get this device to work without the glow crystal, and Nap and Variety entertaining the guests. I agree, certified Torganic. Tori is horrendously, maliciously efficient, and I sort of adore it. So I hope did you guys have fun? The first half of our launch day adventure, we will be finishing it up next week. I'm very much looking forward to it. If you enjoy what you saw Space 1889 and you haven't checked out, go to Kickstarter. It is currently on Kickstarter. It is fully funded. Physical print books are available. Daryl Hayhurst of Pinnacle now. Savage Worlds has done an amazing job with the rule system. I really love it. I feel like it feels like Victorian heroes. No, thank you, Certified Organic. Thanks for showing up. Phantom, thanks for showing up. To everyone who has been here, I appreciate it. Mr. Furious, Jadinks, and Restart, always good to see you. We will be back on Thursday with finishing up our space opera look at gaming and space opera as science fiction on Behind the Screen. Saturday, we'll be doing the Grand Campaign, why you should embrace death in the Grand Campaign. And I'm really looking forward to 2 weeks from tonight. We're going to have our fireside chat where we share gaming stories, We share our favorite moments from the campaigns this year. We've got some stories to share from people who have shared them on the Iconic Discord. If you want to leave send a little video message or a voice message, or send me a message on the Iconic Discord, there's a whole sub-channel where you can post your Christmas story message, your favorite moment in gaming, or you can contact us at iconicpodcast@gmail.com. We will get all of that information. So, until next week, when we finish up this launch day adventure of Space 1889 After, thank you from everyone at Iconic. Thank you from everyone at Strange Owl. Thank you to, as always, my wonderful players, Ben, JD, Ben, Becca, and Gabe. You guys keep me on my toes. The only reason I am as good of a GM as I am is because of the players that force me to rise to the plot. We will see you all in a week. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay gaming. Have a good one. Also, thank you as always to Mr. Bob Crumb for the distractingly beautiful background and character art. We will see you all in a week. Have a good one.